So you've had your demand gen agency that's primarily focused on generating demand through content for the last 5 years. What is the number one thing you learned?
People don't understand how marketing works. There's always these crazy delusional billion-dollar valuation ambitions and goals. They always try to achieve these things with like $0 budget. And it can be really hard to pitch them the type of marketing they actually need.
Give us some quick tips on distribution with content and ways to amplify that.
In 2025, if you're not designing content with distribution in mind, like what are you even doing? Your team and their LinkedIn profiles are great free channels that you could use as long as you have a good like team spirit, team culture, that they're also willing to use their personal profile for distribution of your content.
What's your favorite piece of content that you made?
No doubt, Jason B2B Born series. Jason B2B Born, like looking for the leads or like working with a CEO who doesn't get marketing and all these things, and start asking us questions like, where are the leads? Which is like the most annoying question to get in marketing, in my opinion.
What's your thoughts on executives that don't understand marketing?
There's this guy called Dave Gerhardt who said...
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the EventShark Podcast. We got a live studio audience right now. What's going on? Woo! Yeah. There's like five people back there. We got Max van den Ingh from Amsterdam. He runs a demand gen agency from Amsterdam. Came all the way from the city of the bikes.
And more things.
And more things. So you've had your demand gen agency that's primarily focused on generating demand through content for the last 5 years.
Correct.
Tell us, what is the number one thing you learned from this?
People don't understand how marketing works. Working with startups, working with scale-ups, there's always going to be limited resources, but there's always these crazy delusional billion-dollar valuation ambitions and goals, right? They always try to achieve these things with like $0 budget, essentially. I kind of like that game. It's a creative game for me to figure out like how can you still get attention from your audience without having to spend like thousands on billboards and like influencer campaigns, etc. So how can you still stand out by doing something different or by doing things that others don't dare to do? That's something that I love doing. I try to achieve that with my company, Unmuted. Luckily, a lot of clients, they come to us because they want that type of marketing. But of course, we also work with companies who think they know what type of marketing they want and need. And it can be really hard to pitch them the type of marketing they actually need and to convince them of that because they don't clearly see how that's going to work for their business. Where for me, it's like, how can you not see that that is going to work for your business? So convincing them of that, it's super hard. I think that's something that I've learned.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big problem that a lot of marketers face, whether you're in-house or you're on the agency side. Like, what's your framework or strategy for navigating that conversation?
I think it works well if you can show that you've done it before for others and that they admire those organizations too or those teams too. How I treat marketing at Unmuted is as like a sort of a laboratory where we test out all these things, and it attracts our prospects because they think you guys do cool marketing. If we hire you, we hope you will help us do cool marketing too. That has been the framework for me, is by doing it myself and then showing like, hey, here's how we are currently doing and this is what I'm seeing, or this is how we applied that to these and these clients and this is what they're seeing and they're getting. And then they're like, oh, okay, wait a minute. So this unconventional way of doing marketing and creating content, like the edutainment stuff, it actually not only works for Unmuted, but then also for these 5, 6, 7, 8 other clients of yours. Okay, now we're willing to try it.
And even something we were talking about yesterday, Max, you are a demand gen agency, so performance is at the heart of it. How are you showing results with your content? Because I think a lot of times people are like, maybe it's a slower ROI on creating content. You got to get the flywheel started, but you had a different perspective on that, where you're thinking we can show content right away.
I think that's very, very doable. But to take a step back, I think the foundations will always come first. So yes, you need to have a good story, as we have established here during this conference as well, listening to people like Harry Dry and others. The foundations come first, so you need to understand who you are for. You need to make sure that you have a compelling narrative that you want to bring to the market. You need to have like the basic properties and channels in place that puts that message in the market 24/7. So you got to have a good website. You got to have some sort of presence on social media. You need to make sure that you are connected with your ICP, with decision makers. That's like the foundational stuff. Like if people cannot find you in Google, like you can do a lot of cool marketing, but it's going to be a difficult situation, right? So I do agree that a level of foundational work is crucial to make the more unconventional stuff work increasingly at an increasingly higher rate. So when you have that stuff in place, and when you have those connections with all those potential buyers on LinkedIn, then any next like sketch of you and your team doing something funny, like conceptual content that gets published on your LinkedIn account and your team's LinkedIn account, will automatically gets distributed to the right people, right? It will get in front of the eyes of your buyers. If they then visit your website and you have a proper retargeting strategy set up, then they're also going to add that into that layer. Then they're going to see that content. They're going to like learn more about your company after initially being engaged.
I want to pause you real quick because you did say teams accounts.
Yeah.
I think the distribution part is often, and me and Ding talk about this all the time, about distribution versus creation and how you can't be sleeping on distribution. And part of, Unmute is that you are also helping with the distribution.
Yeah.
And you talked about the teams accounts. Give us some quick tips on distribution with content and ways to amplify that.
In 2025, if you're not designing content with distribution in mind, like what are you even doing, right? Yes, you need to have a great story, but when you are going to create content from that story, you need to think about the channels and the places where you're going to share that content. Because otherwise, like if you don't do that assessment, like what's your expectation even going to be of like who and when is that content going to be consumed? In order to make a good assessment, you also need to know what are your resources. If you have like unlimited budget, then sure, please like run LinkedIn ads all day long, YouTube ads, influencers, all these things. But most startups, most tech companies don't have those resources, or they first need to earn those resources from their CFO. Your team and their LinkedIn profiles are great free channels that you could use as long as you have a good like team spirit, team culture, that they're also willing to use their personal profile and social media accounts for distribution of your content. That specific channel and way of distributing your content, it all comes down to having a good team culture and making sure that they also see some sort of benefit from using their own social media account to promote company content. If that makes sense.
I love the piece about team culture because having been a follower of the unmuted team content, y'all prominently feature the team members, right? And you have internal content production capability built out to make that process, more seamless and lower friction for the team. But for the viewers out there, what are some ways that companies can bolster, right, the ability of their teams and to, one, produce content, to be in content, and three, broadcast and distribute that content?
I realize that not all companies out there or that are listening are marketing agencies with people who like geek out over marketing and like building their personal brand and stuff. But we have unlimited examples of companies that we work with where besides the founder, there are other experts in the company that have also started posting on LinkedIn, and they built a personal brand in such a way that I'm 100% convinced that they will never have to apply for a job ever again. I think if you can make that very clear to your team, and you're also willing to put them into that position, meaning at some point they are going to leave your company with that personal brand. If you are the leader who thinks that is cool, you're cultivating the right mindset. And then I think people start seeing that personal brand more as something that is important to them and in their in next steps in their career, rather than it is, okay, we want to hit our goals, and I'm going to sort of give the keys to my personal LinkedIn account to the company and basically not getting anything for it in return.
Yeah, I think a lot of companies, there's that element of fear, right? The risk aversion of, if we empower our team too much and they start building brands, they're going to become a more attractive employee for other people.
Yeah, and you should embrace that.
Yeah.
It 100% will attract the right people to the
100%.
company. And
It's for us, it starts as early as the vacancy. So it's on the vacancy that we give you the opportunity to build a personal brand while you work here in such a way that you will probably never have to apply for a next job ever again. It is in the employment contract It is part of onboarding. So in onboarding, there's a checklist of like everything you need to like learn or tools that you have to create, but also that you post about your first week working at at Unmuted on LinkedIn. Like it's these small things that set up such a sort of employee-led growth playbook.
Even you might be like graduating people maybe that might be leave Unmuted with great personal brands, but now you're bringing an amazing crop of talent that maybe want to like get that to that next level. I think that's creating just the right culture and the right environment to create the system.
And it all starts with the leader, right, of the company. If the founder is not going to prioritize like posting on LinkedIn, it's hard if they are going to demand that the people who work there are going to do it.
It's funny because there's kind of a parallel there with on the client side, but then internally as well, right? Like if the agency is not eating their own dog food, right? It's hard to convince the client to go and take creative risks. And the same thing, if the founder of the business or the executives of the business aren't comfortable doing that, how can you expect, other people on the team to take that route? What's your favorite piece of content that you made, whether for Unmuted or for a client?
For Unmuted, no doubt, it's the Jason B2B Born
B2B
series.
Born!
Shout out to Aaron.
Shout out Aaron.
It's definitely a B2B Born. We had that series going on last year. We did 5 episodes. A few of them were in person. Aaron flew out to Amsterdam. We had an amazing time. I actually flew to Boston last year. We did an in-person one. We definitely saw that the in-person versions, like they did really well.
It's just in person, like the extra effort.
It's just an extra effort.
Freaking flying to Amsterdam just to shoot, a video or a series like that just stands
I
out.
also learned, like globally speaking, like Amsterdam is a great brand when it comes down to marketing. Like when sort of there's anything that people recognize being Amsterdam, like in the background of your content, people are gonna love it. A clear benefit. It's a hack for sure. No, but Jason B2B Born, it was like it was a nice sort of very conceptual series about Jason B2B Born, like looking for the leads or like working with a CEO who doesn't get marketing and all these things that are sort of important for us as an agency to address. Obviously, we also have to deal sometimes with executives who don't get marketing and start asking us questions like, where are the leads? Which is like the most annoying question to get in marketing, in my opinion. I've printed it on t-shirts just to make statements about how annoying that question is. So that piece of content, it was amazing.
What's your thoughts on executives that don't understand marketing? You got a rant for us?
There's this guy called Dave Gerhardt who said life's too short to work for a CEO who doesn't get marketing or something like that. And it's just so true. I often don't get it. Like, why do you even hire a marketer if you don't want to listen to what they have to say or what their thoughts are, or if you're not even willing to sort of go with a few of those creative ideas that they come up with? I think it's tough also for CEOs who are under pressure with funding rounds and all that stuff. So naturally, they're going to put pressure on the people that they can put pressure on to prioritize activities that yield results in the short term. But I think that only works, or most of the time only works for sales activities, and then maybe a little bit like demand capture, some Google Ads stuff. But you cannot run more ads than there is demand for your service. A lot of executives, they think as if they're in the business of like selling like white t-shirts. Like there's unlimited demand in Google for people who want to buy a white t-shirt today. So if you're selling white t-shirts, then you can run ads all day long and sell them through that type of funnel. But if you're in some sort of cybersecurity niche space and there's maybe 50 searches for your stuff per month, you cannot get more than those searches. But leadership thinks there's some sort of magical place that marketing can go to still get those.
Yeah, it's like if you run the ads, they will come. It's like,
if you run the ads, they will come. It's just not the case. It's a more mid to long term investment marketing. Yes, you can get lucky here and there, but like not all day long. It's just annoying to be in that situation.
You got to educate the market. The demand creation is important, and it's not just demand capture.
Demand creation is important, or like at least sort of emphasizing why solving the problem that you can solve, why it makes sense to do it now, or to start leaning into like understanding why it's such a big problem and why you might need a solution. Like if you spend a very decent amount of your marketing resources on those types of activities, then down the line, you will have more buyers that come to you pre-educated about the problem, about the solution, and are very willing to talk with you. And I think it will be a more pleasant experience also for your sales teams. I know that I'm in the marketing services business. There's a lot of demand for it. We do have a very specific ICP, so we sort of limit very much how much demand we could actually capture in a meaningful way, but we're 100% inbound. I've never done outbound ever in these 5 years for Unmuted. And everybody comes to us because they already know us, because they have already heard from us. They already have heard good stories. So it's very doable, but you have to be in it for the long run. Otherwise it won't work.
Obviously, you're a great marketer, and we're surrounded by great marketers here at the Exit 5 Drive conference.
We are. There's some exceptional marketers out here.
What has been, a takeaway for you, Max, here at the conference?
It's my second time here at Drive. I really enjoy this conference. I enjoy the sort of niche format, like 200 marketers, all pretty much in the same industry. For me, a big takeaway this year, also hearing the talks and then also like the breakout sessions, I clearly see sort of two types of marketers walking around here, the more storyteller marketers and the systems marketers. And I feel like this whole sort of AI wave that we're currently riding is forcing more and more people to become a systems marketer, whether they like it or not. Whereas I think a lot of those marketers would be better off if they try to lean in a little bit more into the storytelling part of marketing, because just cranking out more stuff with a weak story, it's not something that your audience is going to love or like or want to engage with. So get that story like in place and then think about the systems.
Bars. Banger.
Boom.
Stop with this. Stop with the spam. Be more intentional with the content.
Stop with the spam, indeed.
Will you eat this for us?
Not on camera.
With any hats you would prefer? Any colors? We have some over there too.
A pink one, definitely. Unmuted. We've got pink colors in our branding, so pink one, 100%.
All right.
Done. Boom.
Boom, boom, boom. All right, Max, where can folks find you?
Thanks for having me. LinkedIn. Where else?
Boom.
Boom. LinkedIn. Go check them out.
Man.
Max Vanden
Ingh.
Max Vanden
It's a
Ingh.
difficult name. Just Max. Max from Unmuted.
Max from Unmuted. You'll find him. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. We'll see you next episode.
Like,
Peace.
comment, subscribe.
Woo.